China.
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 China. China.
China is a huge country. It's one of the largest economies in the world. It also had the fastest growing economy thanks to its exports and increasing population. However, it is still considered a developing country thanks to its low GDP per capita and high poverty rates. In order to get more in depth about the economy of China, I booked a flight to Shanghai, the capital of China. Here we are in the middle of Shanghai. It's a big, beautiful city with skyscrapers all around. If you look behind me, you can see the Oriental Pearl Tower. One would not think China is still a developing country by just looking at Shanghai, but let's look at the data.
China's GDP per capita is about $16,700 US, which puts it about 105th in ranking in the world. For visual reference, here is a graph of their GDP from 2000 to 2017. Back to you, John.
Thank you, Joel. I'll have some of what you're eating later. Anyways, back to talking about China. In terms of industry, China is a world leader in mining, ore processing, consumer products, and transportation equipment. China doesn't skip out on agriculture either, being a world leader in the production of rice, wheat, potatoes, corn, and many other everyday foods. We now cut back to Joel for more information about imports and exports.
Imports and exports are also a key part to the Chinese economy. The Chinese economy is #1 in the world at exports. They export pretty much everything. I mean, if you look at something and look at the fine print underneath, it says made in China. They export about 2.2 trillion US worth of stuff every year. To better understand the everyday struggles of the Chinese citizen, John sent me to interview someone who has experience living in China. So, as a Chinese citizen, what economic problems do you typically encounter in your everyday life?
I'm Korean.
Are you sure? You kind of look...
Thanks again, Joel. But now, let's talk about unemployment and poverty. The unemployment rate in China as of 2017 is around 3.9%, which means that around 54 million people are unemployed. Additionally, around 3.3% of the population is below the poverty line. That is 46 million people.
China has a currency called the renminbi. It uses a system of measurement called yuan. The yuan right now is about 15 cents, and it costs in China. It costs about $273 US to buy a burger, and in the US it costs about $4.80 to buy a burger, meaning that the yuan is very undervalued. The economy of China is not without its share of problems. Some of the problems include debt, poverty, increased pollution, and on top of all that, they also have to deal with the increased pressure of a trade war with the US, which would be very bad because they rely on the US to buy a lot of their exports. Okay, John, so that concludes the factory tour.
That was a highly productive factory you've got. If I were a business owner, I'd be willing to manufacture my parts here. Just one question.
Okay, what is it?
How old were those factory workers we just saw?
Oh, 10 to 13, sometimes 14, 15.
But doesn't that violate child labor laws?
What?
Child labor laws.
What are those?
You've got children in here working. For how long and for how much are they working?
Well, they usually make $9 to $18 a month, and usually they work about or over 70 hours a week.
But isn't that unethical? Is it really bad to employ children to work in your factory?
No, not at all.
How bad can I be? I'm just building the economy.
Without my factory, these kids would be out on the streets. They'd be penniless. Like, they could have $0, or they could work for me and have $9 to $18 a week. This dramatically increases their quality of life, and also, no one is forcing them to stay here. I don't hold them at gunpoint or anything. If they want to leave, they can just walk out the nearest door, no consequences whatsoever.
Are you aware that in America people protest children working?
No, I was not. That sounds really stupid.
I know. It's not nearly as significant as, say, the 1989 Tiananmen Square protests. At least then they had something.